Good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new chapter in literature. Chapter 9, Uncle Ken at the Wheel, which is page number 73. So please take out your books. Before we start off with the story, let's read something about the author. Uncle Ken at the Wheel. This story, it's a part of the story which has been given in your book, and it's written by Ruskin Bond. Right. So, Ruskin Bond is a popular Indian author. He was born in 1934 in Kasauli, and he spent most of his life in Himalayas. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof, when he was only 17. So till date, he has written over 30 novels for the children and most of the 300 short stories. So he has written 300 short stories and 30 novels. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992, the Padma Shri Award in 1999, and the Padma Bhushan in 2014 for his contribution to Indian literature. He lives in Landaur, Uttarakhand. Okay? So, children, it's the story about him. So the narrator in the story, who is narrating, is Ruskin Bond himself. He is the author, right? So author is narrating the story, means saying the story. So the narrator, Ruskin, has a lot of fun memories with Uncle Ken. So Ruskin has an uncle whose name is Uncle Ken, and he has got a lot of memories, a lot of stories about Uncle Ken and himself and their adventures. Whenever he visits his grandmother, he usually finds Uncle Ken there. So, Uncle Ken is always there with the grandmother. Today, they have a lot of adventure. Together they have a lot of adventure. So, together they have a lot of stories and a lot of adventures. So read this story about one such adventure. So this story is about the adventure of Ruskin Bond and Uncle Ken. Ruskin Bond is the author and he is also the narrator of the story. Okay, he's narrating the story, he's saying the story. So let's start reading. On my next visit to Dera, Mohan met me at the station. We got into a tonga with a luggage and we went rattling and jingling along Deora's quiet roads to Granny's house. So, Ruskin decided to go to Deora, and where Mohan, his friend, he also came along and he met him in the station, and they got up on a tonga. Tonga means a hand-pulled carriage where the horses pull the carriage, right? With my luggage. So he had his luggage and they went rattling into the quiet roads of Deora. Where were they going? They were going to their grandmother's house, their granny's house. Right. Tell me all the news, Mohan. So Ruskin is asking, tell me the news. What all news are there? Not much to tell. He said nothing much. Some of the excuse me. So children, this story belongs to long back when foreigners used to stay there. So he's saying some of the sahibs are selling houses and going away. Susie had kittens. So they have a cat who's got kittens. So that's the news he's giving. Excuse me. Granny knew I would have been in the train for 2 nights. She had a huge breakfast ready for me. Okay, children, just give me a minute. I'll just drink some water. Sorry, excuse me. Right, I'm back. Okay, so Granny made huge breakfast for Ruskin. Why? Because he was there in the train for 2 nights and she thought he must really be hungry. So she made porridge, scrambled eggs on toast. What is porridge? Porridge is called halwa. Okay. Then scrambled eggs on toast means we scramble the egg, and meat with fried tomatoes, toast and marmalade. Marmalade is kind of a jam made out of oranges and lemons. And sweet milky tea. She told me there would be a letter from Uncle Ken. So what did she say? She said that Uncle Ken will send you a letter. He says he's the assistant manager at Firpo's hotel in Shimla, she said. So she said Uncle Ken has sent a letter where he has written that he is the manager of a hotel in Shimla. The name of the hotel is Firpo's. The salary is very good and he gets free board and lodging. So he doesn't have to pay for his stay there and he's getting that free. It's a steady job, it's a good job, and I hope he keeps it. So Granny is saying, I hope he keeps it. 3 days later, so after they were talking about this, after 3 days, Uncle Ken was on the veranda steps with his bedding roll and battered suitcase. So what is the meaning of battered? Old suitcase. Okay. Turn the page. Have you given up the hotel job? Asked Granny. No, said Uncle Ken. They have closed down. So what happened? So Granny saw Uncle Ken on the steps of the veranda and he was standing with his luggage, his bedding and his old suitcase. Then Granny asked him, what happened? Did you leave the job? And he said, no, they have closed down. So the hotels were closing down. I hope it wasn't because of you, he said. She asked that I hope not, the hotel did not close down because of you. He said, no, all the bigger hotels in the hill stations are closing down. All the big hotels were closing down that time in the hill stations. Well, never mind. Come along and have your tiffin. There is kofta curry today. It's Ruskin's favorite. So he said, okay, doesn't matter. She said, please come in and let's have, tiffin. Tiffin means lunch that time. And we will have kofta curry and that is Ruskin's favorite. Ruskin was also there. Oh, is he here too? So Uncle Ken asked, he is here. I have far too many nephews and nieces. Still, he is preferable to those 2 girls of Mabel's. They made my life miserable for me all the time I was with them in Shimla. So he had 2 more nieces there who made his life hell. Okay. Over tiffin, as lunch was also called in those days, lunch was called tiffin those days, Uncle Ken talked very seriously about ways and means of earning a living. So, since the hotel was locked, since the hotel was closed down and Uncle Ken did not have a job anymore. So, he was thinking about earning and how to earn a living. What to do next. there is only one taxi in the whole of Deora, he mused. Surely there is business for another. I'm sure there is, Granny said. But where does it get you? In the first place, you don't have a taxi. And in the second place, you can't drive. So, what did Granny say? He said that we can drive a taxi because there is only one taxi in the whole Deora. So, we can have one more. So, there's going to be business. He can earn something out of that. But Granny said, first thing, you cannot drive. Secondly, you don't have a taxi. So, next page. I can soon learn. He said, I can learn how to drive. There's a driving school in town. And I can use Uncle's old car. It's been gathering dust in the garage for years. So, what did he do? Say, there's a driving school in the town. So, there was a driving school in the town and he said that he will learn driving from there. And which car will he use? He told Granny that he will use Uncle's car, which was, gathering dust. It was all dusty and it was not used. So, we can use that car. What car was it? He was referring to grandfather's vintage Hillman Roadster. It was a 1926 model, about 20 years old. It was a very old car. The car was 20 years old and it was a vintage car. And he thought that he would use that car. He would clean up and use that car. I don't think it will run now, said Granny. Granny said that it won't run anymore. Of course it will. It just needs some oiling and greasing and a spot of paint. So what did he say? It just needs greasing up, means servicing, and we can paint it again and it will look like new. It will work, he said. Alright, learn to drive, then we will see about the roadster. So he said, okay, first you learn to drive and then we will see about the car. So Uncle Ken joined the driving school. He was very regular. So Uncle Ken joined the driving school and he was very regular in school, going for his lessons for an hour in the evening. So in the evening he used to go for an hour to learn driving. Granny paid the fees. So who paid the fees? Granny paid the fees. After a month, so after 1 month, Uncle announced that he could drive the car and that he was taking the roadster out for a trial. So he said to Granny that now I can drive, now I know how to drive and now I'm going to take the roadster out. You haven't got license yet. So Granny said you did not get your license yet. So how will you drive? He said, oh, I won't take her far. He said, I'm not going to go very far, he said. Okay, just down the road and back again. He said, I'll just go down the road and back again. So he spent all morning cleaning up the car. Granny gave him money for the can of petrol. So Granny gave him money for the petrol to put in the car and then he cleaned up the car from morning, entire morning. He spent all morning cleaning up the car. After tea, Uncle Ken said, come along, Ruskin, hop in and I will give you a ride. Bring Mohan along too. Mohan and I needed no urging. Means they did not need to be pestered. We got into the car beside Uncle Ken. So what happened? Uncle Ken told Mohan, Ruskin, that come on, hop into the car, come in and I'm going to give you a ride and call Mohan also. So both of them sat in the car beside Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken nodded and smiled and gave 2 sharp toots on the horn. So he honked. He was feeling pleased with himself. He was feeling very pleased that he was driving a car. And finally he learned how to drive. Driving through the gate, he nearly ran over Crazy, our dog. So the dog was around and he was almost, running him over. Miss Keller, coming out of her evening rickshaw ride, saw Uncle Ken at the wheel of the roadster and went inside again. So his neighbor, Miss Kellner, she came out and she was coming back from her rickshaw ride or something, and when she saw Uncle Ken at the driving seat, she went inside the house. Uncle Ken drove straight and fast, tootling the horn without a brake. So he was driving straight and very fast. At the end of the road, there was a roundabout. So once the road ended, there was a roundabout. Roundabout means there was a turn. Please turn the page. We will turn here, said Uncle Ken, and then drive back again. So he said, we will turn and we will drive back. He turned the steering wheel. We began going round the roundabout, but the steering wheel wouldn't turn all the way. Because see, it's a very old car, and as he said that it needs a lot of servicing and greasing, which he did not do. So the steering wheel was not turning properly and they could not turn. So what happened? So instead of going round, we took a round right turn and kept going straight. So they did not turn back, they took a right turn and they went straight through the Maharaja of Jaipur's garden wall. So what did he do? He turned right and he hit the wall of the Maharaja's house. It was a single brick wall. So the brick was a single brick wall and the roadster knocked it down. So he broke the wall of the Maharaja's lawn and emerged into the side without a damage to the car. So nothing happened to the car though, or any of its occupants. So nothing happened to them as well. Mohan, Ruskin and Uncle Ken, nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to the car also. But the wall broke of the Maharaja's house. Uncle Ken brought it to a halt in the middle of the Maharaja's lawn. So the house was inside, there was a lawn and then there was a boundary wall, which was a single brick wall, and he hit the wall and he went into the lawn, at the middle of the lawn of the Maharaja's house of Jaipur. Running across the grass came the Maharaja himself, flanked by his secretaries. Flanked means on each side, one side of the Maharaja, there were two secretaries and their assistants. When he saw that it was Uncle Ken at the wheel, the Maharaja beamed with pleasure. Means he smiled happily when he saw Uncle Ken. "Delighted to see you, old chap," he exclaimed. What did he say? "I am so happy." Delighted means happy. The Maharaja said, "I am so happy to see you. Jolly decent of you to drop in again. How about a game of tennis?" So the Maharaja was very happy to see him, though he broke the wall, but he did not mind at all. And that was the adventure which they have gone through with Uncle Ken and Ruskin, right? So this was the story. It's a very simple story. Please read the story. Learn, underline the difficult words, whichever words you feel is difficult. And if you have any issues with understanding, I'm always there, you know, right? So this is the story, and we are going to do exercise A. Page number 77, quickly. So see children, this one you have to number these sentences to get the correct sequence of the story. One has been done for you. The number one, see, Mohan met Ruskin at the station. That is number one. Number 2 would be 3 days later. Uncle Ken was on the veranda steps with his bedding roll and suitcase. This is number 2. Now number 3 would be Uncle Ken joined the driving school. Uncle Ken joined the driving school. This is number 3. Number 4. Uncle Ken spent all morning cleaning up the car. Uncle Ken spent all morning cleaning up the car. This was number 4. Okay, number 5. Ruskin and Mohan got into the car beside Uncle Ken. Ruskin and Mohan got into the car beside Uncle Ken. Now number 6. Uncle Ken nearly ran over Crazy. Uncle Ken nearly ran over Crazy. So this was number 6. Now number 7. Uncle Ken drove the roadster through the Maharaja's garden wall. Uncle Ken drove the roadster through the Maharaja's garden wall. This was number 7. And lastly, number 8. The Maharaja was delighted to see Uncle Ken. The Maharaja was delighted to see Uncle Ken. This was last. So children, I'm just going to write the sequence here so that it's going to be easier for you to. So 6, 8, 3, 1, which is already written, 5, 2, 7, 4. Right? So this is the sequence. Please quickly finish your work. Now it's time to wrap up. So right children, I'm sure you have finished. Children, please read the chapter and make a video of your reading and send it to me. All of you, please do it. Reading is very, very important. Please read every day. Read some storybooks, read something you like, and read this chapter and underline all the difficult words you feel that it's difficult for you, and learn the meanings which are given here in the book. Right? So today we wrap up here. I'm sure you have understood the story and you have understood the concept behind the story. And in my next video, I'm going to do the spellings and the meanings, and the following videos you're going to have your question answers and MCQs, true and false, and everything. Okay? So children, I end my lecture here. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and have a wonderful day.